Hey, gang! Uncle Todd Sunny here. And if you thought last week's film was crazy, it's got nothing on this one. Last week was Nazi elves. This week, homicidal snowmen. It's called Jack Frost, and not to be confused with the Michael Keaton family fantasy of a father who dies and comes back as the snowman that his son built in the yard. Completely different. Now, originally, it was going to be a $30 million budget, and it was going to be directed by Rennie Harlan. Well, his wife at the time, Gina Davis, read the script and said, "This is the worst thing I've ever read," and decided instead to do Cutthroat Island. So Harlan pulled out to do Cutthroat Island, and well, with the intelligence of hindsight, we see which film did better. Although, they go through some problems. They had to truck in the snow because where they were filming, they'd had a drought, so there was no snow. And the company that financed the film originally went bankrupt before the shoot. So it was taken over by the bank. And the bank just said, "Look, we got to get our money back. Make a 90-minute straight-to-video horror film. Whatever you want to do is fine." You know, that's kind of how films should be made, don't you think? We need it this long and for this much money. Anything else is okay with us. But, everybody always got to think they know best. And as it went on, it morphed into the slapstick comedy it is known for today. And I think it's better for it. Plus, it's all practical effects because of the low budget. And we are introduced to our antagonist, Jack Frost, who's a serial killer being transported to be executed when they run into an unforeseen accident.
Oh, yeah.
See what I mean about the humor there? A little ping. Anyways, one of the drivers is dead, the guy in the back is dead, Jack got out, and the driver is banged up but alive, and finds out that Jack is no longer shackled.
Looks like deep fried Jack's off the menu for tonight, huh?
It looks like it's all over for the other guard, because Jack is the most prolific serial killer in history across many states. And then a strange quirk of fate happens, because it just turns out that the other truck was carrying a large tanker of an experimental acid.
This is gonna hurt.
And there was much rejoicing.
Oh, well, short flick. Guess we can go now. Alright. All seems to have ended for Jack, and then something comes up out of the snow, scaring the heck out of that guard, and goes away. And the government agents show up at the accident later, and one of them takes the guard away for a private talk. We are then introduced to our hero, Sam Tillin, Sheriff of Snowmonton, which is where he was heading through. It's also where he was captured. Seems it was an accidental happenstance. He had stopped to take to relieve himself, and Sam came up to see what was going on. Car stopped middle of nowhere, and there'd been a description the license and everything, and he ends up capturing him, although he still has nightmares about dealing with this guy. And then we get an important plot point that we don't know is a plot point when his son Ryan makes him what Ryan calls his special oatmeal.
But I made you special.
Oh, yum, Ryan. That looks great. Look, I think I'm going to save this for lunch, okay? I'll put it in a baggie.
Coward.
Yeah, I'd say I'd eat it later too. Anyway, he goes and checks out the snowman building competition that's happening that evening. And we meet two important characters, Jill and Tommy.
Good morning, Tommy.
Oh, hi, Jill.
What you
How you
making,
doing?
Tommy?
Oh, this? Nothing. Just, I mean, it's not supposed to be you.
So, you want to meet up
Later.
And yes, you sharp-eyed viewers, that is Shannon Elizabeth of American Pie fame in her screen debut. Anyways, the sheriff gets to his office where we have a little more humor over his son's culinary skills.
But Daddy, I made those oats special for you.
Once inside, his day gets ruined.
What's the matter? Somebody die?
And wait till you see just exactly what condition the body's in.
Shit, Sam, we ain't had a kill in the county in all our lives. I knew old man Harper ever since I learned how to steal apples from his orchard.
Yeah, you don't get too many stiffs that are actually frozen stiff.
Very funny.
I gave it a shot. Anyway, the doctor, after an examination, confirms that he did not die from exposure. He had his neck snapped first. So, the sheriff calls the FBI. He had passed by the accident. And Agent Manners assures him Jack died in that accident. Nothing to worry about. Don't know what the death is in your area, but it has nothing to do with Jack Frost. And then we get this cryptic conversation between Agent Manners and Dr. Stone.
We hadn't even tested the acid on an amoeba, let alone a human cell. This is a disaster.
Disaster? You gotta learn to look on the bright side of things.
The bright side?
Sure. At least you know it works.
Okay, I see. They're going to be one of those kind of investigators. And they're now going to have to head into Snowminton to take care of this little problem. Now, of course, Agent Manners, he just wants to kill whatever Jack's become. And Stone wants it captured. It's proof of concept, basically. Meanwhile, back at the sheriff's house, his wife, Ryan's mother, what's her name? Oh, where is it? What is the wife's name? Here we go. Anne. Sees there's a snowman built in the yard. Oh, Ryan must have done it. He was wanting to make a snowman for the contest. So she gives him the supplies to give him a face. I like how Ryan is using the puppet as a model for the face. Now some bullies show up, one of who is Joel's brother, and he's wanting to sled there, even though it is not their property. And because he's a bully, he decides that he needs to show Ryan who's boss around here.
Oh man, is it yours?
Yes.
No!
Oh yes.
I get the feeling that is going to be his big mistake. Possibly his last, too.
Hi, keeper.
I'm not going to laugh at that. But that is funny as heck. Okay. Now, of course, the kids think Ryan did it. Ryan says the snowman did it. Well, Jim's father, he sides with the two boys, even though the sheriff says, look, your boy's twice his size. How could he push him in the way of anything? But, doesn't matter. Although later that night, after Joe goes out to meet with Tommy, Jack is going to start his revenge tours, let's say.
Gosh, I only asked you for a smoke.
You know, guys, it just dawned on me how weird this film is, you know?
Yeah,
It's just kind of goofy.
Actually, he does a lot worse to her. But we'll get a glimpse of that in a second, because Paul, Tommy's father, shows up, and he runs the local hardware farm supply store and such, and is delivering salt.
Oh, sorry, folks. The shed was all blocked. I didn't know where you wanted this.
Ho, 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 and what's your name, little boy? Always remember to dress up warm.
Well, for an older guy of my size, he leads Jack on a pretty good chase and gets away. One of the deputies came up to give his condolences to the family, and so he walks in on that, calls the sheriff, and we get this bit of small town investigative concepts.
First, I want you to find Joe. I want you to get Doc Peters and bring him up here. Take a look at Sally.
You don't reckon we should leave her up for the 12 days of Christmas, then?
Huh. Even in small towns, they got that cop gallows humor. That's Deputy Pullman, who made that little bon mot, and, well, he's not long for the rest of the film. Anywho, Manners and Stone show up, take over the investigation as a federal matter, and declare a curfew on the town. But not to worry, he's got a whole team coming up here. They'll get this all straightened out. Look at these. So, everybody's pulled into town because the snowman competition. And they're at the church. And the sheriff explains about the curfew that's coming out. And that's when Paul shows up ranting about a killer snowman.
What are you talking about? No, you don't understand. Paul. No, she had wires coming out of her. She had little lights in her.
Paul, Paul,
There's a
look
seven
at me.
months up. Paul. Oh, God. Okay.
Hi, keeper.
I'm thinking cover up here. Big cover up. Well, they decide to put him in a cell in the jail, let him sleep off whatever it is, and then sends Deputy Pullman out to Jack's house to talk to his wife. He's not going to make it.
Madman be a hero. La 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 la. Whoa!
Yeah, when he goes to get a snow shovel to move the snowman, Jack gets into the car and runs him over. And hey, now he's got a car. And then we get a really suspenseful moment where the sheriff finds out his wife has gone back home to get more blankets for everybody. The minister is letting people stay there in the church. There's rooms upstairs. And so that they don't have to go home and they can stay together because there's a manhunt going on. And while she's at home, water starts leaking in. And we had seen previously in the last attack, or the attack at a house, he turns into water and gets into places. But it turns out to be a leak in the pipes. And Joe, who is another deputy, got sent and picks her up and takes her out back to the church. At which point, we find that Tommy and Jill are there at the sheriff's house. She's had this idea, maybe petty revenge for the death of her brother, for her and Tommy to go in there and, well, you know.
Sex.
At which point, we get one of the funniest satires of the erotic undressing scene.
Well, all these economies are getting me down.
Yeah, it just keeps going on. More and more outer clothing keeps getting dropped on the floor. Anyways, once they're down to just one layer, in order for Tommy to score the big one, she needs two things: roaring fire in the fireplace and wine. And then she goes upstairs so he can take care of those things. And as she's blowing out her hair to make it all fluffy, apparently, Jack gets into the house.
Well, what do you know? Armed and dangerous. I'm not dead. Bottom of the night, 4 dead. Here's the wind up and the pit.
Nasty. I like that, shooting ice sickles. That's kind of neat. Upstairs, Jill has finished blowing out her hair, and she discovers something as she's heading downstairs.
Thank you, Tommy.
So, of course, hot bath. A little fun time in the tub. Turns out not so much. And here is where we come to the controversial part of the film. Now, originally, when they filmed this, Jack was supposed to bang her head against the wall of the tub. Unfortunately, he had that carrot nose, and it hit her in the eye. So, when they went to reshoot after she'd been taken care of, and no permanent damage, they took the nose away, which unfortunately made the scene look like this. Yeah. This was the most complicated setup they had done, and they really couldn't afford to reshoot it, so they decided to play into it with some dialogue.
Well, hope it was good for you, honey.
Nope. I am not posting the laughing image on that one. But here's something that is a little funny, in a passive-aggressive sort of way.
Oh, thanks. Please, just to the brim. You heard from Chris yet? He was up at Paul Davers' place.
Not that I know of.
Why don't you see if you can get him on the radio, okay? I'm worried about him.
Okay.
Never mess with the secretary. Oh, and there's more bad news, because there's a winter storm coming in, and their chopper's not going to be able to make it. So they're just going to bring them people up in motor vehicles.
No way, never happened.
Might be a little late, but they'll be here.
Oh, no. Tell him, Marla.
No way. We're dead center, the Snowman's in Bowl. It's 20 miles uphill in any direction. If it's anything like last week, you won't even be able to get a snowplow across the highway in an hour from now.
Yeah, everybody's cut off. And they're all stuck there with Jack. Speaking of which, he shows up at the police station.
It's just a scar.
Oh, God.
Nah, bitch couldn't make it.
Thought you said conventional weapons couldn't touch that thing.
And there was much rejoicing.
Now look what you've gone and done.
Oh. Guess Mr. Agent Manners isn't so cocky now, is he? Well, they run into the station, whereupon Jack gets in under the door. And Sam sends everybody back into the cells for safety and tries to find a weapon.
Yeah, really? Kind of goofy.
Unfortunately, short cord. But he now knows something they can fight with. So they lock the door into the cells, get out all the aerosol cans, and get them going. Almost forgot Paul's back there too, so they get him out and they all go through the window. And then when Jack comes for them...
Somebody remember to put out the cat.
And there was much rejoicing.
Okay, now he's done.
Survive that.
Look, Ma! I'm a Picasso!
Holy jumble!
You gotta be shitting me.
Come on, run!
Good idea. So they all book it to the church, but sometimes you get a little unattentive when you're barricading things.
Hey! Anyone got an aspirin? Oh, my head.
Your place or mine?
Yours.
Come on!
That works because earlier in the film, those two had been flirting with each other, and you get the feeling it's a long-standing thing with them to kind of flirt and stuff. Anyways, our sheriff has had about enough of this whole need-to-know basis, and he's demanding some answers.
To be destroyed. What exactly are we up against?
Not even the Secretary of Defense knows what I'm doing.
I said I want the truth!
Thank you. No problem.
Do something!
Like what? Teach him how to shoot better?
I think that's a pretty good argument. Let's see what the dealio is here.
I created an acid that would bond a human chromosome helix with an inert material so that we could be resurrected in our future. But something happened in the accident. The snow didn't just store Jack Frost's DNA,
It's taken on his personality.
Yeah, it seems this whole thing was set up as a way to survive nuclear holocaust. You could bond with this whatever inert material it is, and then just wait out the radiation and all that. Of course, now the guy thinks that because the snow took on Jack's personality, which I feel like the creators of this are Swamp Thing fans. Anyway, he's starting to think that the soul is an actual biochemical inside the body. Whatever. He wants to contain it. Well, what are they going to put him in that he can't leak out of? But maybe, considering how hot a furnace can get, maybe that would be enough to destroy him, since the explosion did. All they got to do is lure him into the basement of the church.
Oh, shit! Can we talk this over? It's hot! It's hot! Oh, great, another one! My hair's good!
And there was much rejoicing.
Okay. He's done for. Although, there had been discussion of his ability to change from snow to water. But we all know that liquid has 3 forms.
That's right.
Everybody forgot about steam.
Blow me.
Tell me what it's like to have breached death, the dream of every man on Earth. You're immortal. How does that feel?
Oh, it feels...
Yeah. He's done for. We do get a humorous bit where Jack tries to walk past the sheriff using Stone's body, but he can't get it to work right. It's kind of a zombie joke. So he comes up out of Stone and traps them in his squad car.
It's you and me, baby!
He's burning. He's burning. Oatmeal is making him burn.
Told you that oatmeal was going to be an important plot point. What exactly is in them, by the way?
I didn't want you to get cold.
Honey, what did you put in the oats?
Antifreeze.
All these problems
boys are getting me down.
Trying to poison his father? What the heck? Now they have a weapon. And the sheriff comes up with a plan. He gets Paul to get all the antifreeze in his store and pour it out into the bed of his truck and to park it in a certain spot. While he's doing that, Sam lures Jack into the church. Only he runs into a slight problem that when he's being chased.
Go away!
It's my husband.
Seems like Jill and Tommy weren't the only ones taking advantage of an empty room. Anyways, he finally manages to get somewhere safe, but Jack's not kept out.
Oh, yeah! You have been the best so far. Listen, I got a point I'd like to make. Oh, quit wriggling, will ya? Oh! Is that... just a minute, let me see.
Well, it was a good plan.
Huh?
It's cavalry asshole.
Oh, whoa. Looks like Jack's not the only one with a pithy Montauk.
Alright, we'll call it a draw.
That was cool. Well, they struggle for a while until Jack melts completely into the antifreeze. And then they make sure all the body parts are in there too, because the arm came off and attacked Ryan, so they got it all done. Now they just have to figure out what to do with him.
So, what do we tell the FBI, Sam?
Tell him it's too late.
Yep. Put him in bottles and bury him. Of course, if anyone's ever seen the sequel, they know that the FBI recovered it, put him in a lab, and then he got resurrected when someone accidentally spilled coffee into his tank. And then he went after Sam again, only Sam was in the Bahamas because he didn't want to spend Christmas around there with all those bad memories. So Jack follows him to the Bahamas. Although, I guess the coffee made him able to exist in warmer climes, but and he also began spawning little snow babies that he used. Not as good as this one. Plus they used CGI in the sequel instead of the practical effects they used here. But yeah, I enjoy this flick a lot. I love this flick. It is an absurd premise. They know it's an absurd premise, and they tackle everything from a logical standpoint of that absurdity. Hence the hairdryer becoming a prominent weapon, which is just it's goofy as all heck. Seeing him going pushing him off. And Snowman Zoo's pretty good too. Not very able to move very well, but they cover it with a lot of cut shots of just the arm moving to show things. Inventive kills that are all Christmas oriented, which is always good for a Christmas horror film. And those are absurd as well. The bathtub scene could be maybe they should have thought of something else. I don't know. But it was a way to get some skin in the film, even though they don't actually show anything. not too gory, except for the well, the one where the woman's stuck to the Christmas tree. But all in all, a well-made film, well thought out. Villains, not just Jack, but the government people that, as typical of the time, were totally untrustworthy. Great leading man in, what was his name? Christopher Allport. Really good. I remember him in a really interesting episode of X-Files, where he played an FBI agent who died and the soul of a bank robber took him over. Really creepy episode. And of course you got Shannon Elizabeth's screen debut, and although she's a pretty stereotypical teenage girl, it's okay. I love the family dynamic between Sam, his wife, and his kid. You know, normal, which you don't always see, especially in some films where they did have the one where Jimmy and Jill's father is kind of abusive, but not too much. And his comeuppance with the axe handle is well deserved. But a very, very fun film that you can't take too seriously, with lots of great jokes and lots of characters. Especially, I love the sarcastic secretary. She's not going to put up with anyone's crap, let alone an FBI agent who she constantly calls bad manners. I like that she and the other deputy kind of hook up in a way. It just cracks me up. Yeah, all in all, highly recommended. For those that like their horror on the goofy, sarcastic side, as opposed to like 2 weeks ago with the rather dark and serious Silent Night, Deadly Night. This is kind of the opposite of that. Well, please hit like, share, and subscribe, and stay after the credits for my favorite scene.
Struggle or attempt to break into the house.
No blood.
Nothing.
Right, I don't want this thing spreading any more than it needs to. The whole town will go crazy. Once you get Doc Peters, take your foot off the chair.